Hi, NT Society. Welcome back to the NT Social Planet. Today we are checking out Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 21, and we ended off the last episode with Thorfinn on a mission to go and talk to Canut and negotiate the end to the fighting that is happening on the farm. And you know what? If you told me at the beginning of the season, like a few episodes in, that there was going to be a meetup of Thorfinn going to talk to Canut, I would have been excited. Now, I'm very much not. I don't know how this is going to go because Canut has changed a lot. He's seeing his father's head and it's like talking to him. Thorfinn has changed a lot too and is trying to be against violence, trying to choose the passive lifestyle, but it seems to not be working out so great for him with that tactic. So I'm very nervous going into this. I don't know what that initial meet is gonna be like, and they weren't super close before this either, so I'm going into this episode already tense, but I guess we'll just have to watch it and find out. In 3, 2, 1, go. Can we talk about how both Canut and Thorfinn have scars on their cheek? Like, Canut's is here on his cheekbone, and Thorfinn's like down here on like his jaw. I'm just saying. Oh, jeez. I'm assuming they're looking for Katil. Because they said like, oh, one of my men struck him down, but they haven't been able to find him. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. They talked about like going into the houses. Okay, at least there's that. You'd better. Bet they'll be grumbly. The lighting shift too. I mean, Kenneth does have like a certain kind of mercy to him, but it's getting all like convoluted. I would really not be taking any advice from your father on ruling, let alone a floating head. Ooh, that hell has its own laws. Yep. I don't know if it'll lead to paradise. It'll lead somewhere, though. What an image. I love that you can see the water in the background. With Aenon, of all characters. Oh, I also love that we have like some of the seeds there. Like new life starting afterwards. Like the light shining through the clouds. It's so heartbreaking that after everything that happened, her last words were thank you. Yeah, they're gone. Not completely without you, though. I doubt you were paying attention, though. Thorfinn's working on some stuff, okay? Probably, hopefully, in theory, he's working on some stuff that may or may not turn out well. I'm hoping for like at least some kind of truce and not an evolution of like violence and like a rift especially between Canut and Thorfinn. Like I want them to like actually be friends at some point because they were like I think on like the edge of being friends before. But now I'm like I don't know, are we past the point where they could be friends at some future point? Also, where is Olmar? Because he said he couldn't help Thorgil with his plan, but we just like didn't see him again. I'm assuming he's still on the farm somewhere. I'm also worried about this meeting because we have all the images in the opener that are about like effigies, and I'm just like, please don't link that with Thorfinn. He's complex and definitely in a like moral gray zone most of the time. But I mean, at least we know what happened to Omar. Interesting that we have courage as the title. Yeah, I'm assuming this is uh like medicine or what constitutes as that? The ones that survived. At least enough to get off the battlefield. Is that worth the debt? You're asking a lot of him. I hope that he turns out to be like a good person. But ooh. It's so interesting the different ways that they kind of see the people that they've killed, right? Like Thorfinn, it is this like hellscape with all this like red and like people like reaching out to him. Canut has like reds, but it's also like purples, which considering like royalty is interesting. Umar, it's like blues. Maybe it's pride. She's showing a lot of kindness. I hope that this turns out okay for her, all things considered. I always get worried when we're like introduced to a new person and they show kindness. I'm like, how long are you gonna last in this? Yeah, I'm like, they'll probably say keep fighting. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like you can't retaliate against your master's wife. I mean, he was like the last one to leave the battlefield. It wasn't until the Knut's men retreated that he left. Yeah, I was like, if Thorgil's making the decisions, I'd be like, I mean, you're not next in line. It's Olmar's, right? What a decision to make. He's a bit wrecked. But if it's his decision, he'll probably say no. Unless he gets pressured, right? Unless he's still in that, like, I need to prove something. But I don't know if he is anymore. He seems, like, worn down enough that he might just be like, no, I can't do this anymore. He doesn't see any kind of glory in fighting. Yeah. I mean, there are people here who respect that decision, though. It's strange to preface that with, like, embarrassing. To be like, hey, people dying scares me. I feel like all of us would agree to that. You made a foolish decision. You wanted so badly to be seen as, like, a brave warrior. And this is what it got you. Look at the body language, too. Like, he's so pulled into himself. You're apologizing? That's so weird. Makes me uncomfortable. True. You just gave him a reason. No, I don't want to agree with Thorgil. I don't think he thinks that his honor is more important than his life. I think he's like, my life is more important. It was pride, not courage. That's a good point. Courage would have been accepting it and not letting it, like, shape who you are. Right? Again, pride isn't courage. Those are two different things. The difference there, like the posture, I love how one's in red, one's in blue. Yeah, back him up. Still don't know how to feel about Snake, but I think you might have found someone he might actually want to serve with. I was gonna say, it's like he's gonna push him, isn't he? It's probably we should probably keep a close eye on him. He seems like the type to do something impulsive just cause. Like he'll find it fun. And look what it got them. Mm-hmm. The more you have, the more you have to lose, right? The farther they fall. True. Elmar's finally stepping up and becoming like more of a leader type than he was before, where he was like, again, very like prideful, very much wanting to just like be a copy of his brother. I mean, there's no telling Thorfinn what to do. True. And you have to trust him, right? Yeah, I trust what I saw in those eyes. Agreed. Like, he's not a child anymore. You can't just like tell him what to do and force him to come home. Like, when he says, I'll be back, you have to decide to trust him. He has to be able to make his own decisions. I understand, like, Anna being upset though, because like, no one knows that he actually, like, Thorfinn actually knows Canut. Like, they've met. They've had interactions. Because who would believe that, right? Looking to be polite. Yeah, I'm like, he's a slave, so people would be like, he doesn't know the king. I mean, you can mock him all you want. He's had worse. I hope that Canut just like shows up, just like rolls up into this conversation and is like, dang, that you, Thorfinn? I'm assuming they're gonna laugh at him. I mean, he is quite a bit shorter. Ooh. You like testing him? Look, he let you hit him. I hope you know that. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's stubborn. Yeah, it doesn't help that there's a crowd here, huh? Like it's gonna goat him. I mean, this is gonna probably get Knut's attention, right? To be like, what are they riled up about now? Say who it is. Say whose name it is. Yes, say it. There it is. Let's go. Okay. Blonde. Intense. Stubborn. I've waited like the whole episode to get to this point. Oh, the lighting is shifted though. Yes. He's stubborn. He won't just leave. Canut? Yeah. Come on. Yes, Loki. Let's go. Are you just gonna like best your way out of this? Look, you don't actually need to fight this guy. You just need to get past him. I mean, the angrier he's gonna get, the more sloppy he's gonna get, right? Wagers. Ooh. Thorfinn, head in the game. Ugh. Is Udmar gonna show up and be like, hey, these are mine. Please don't injure them? I mean, I guess technically they're not anymore. Are you gonna like let yourself get hit a bunch of times to prove a point? Oh, are we gonna fight? Fight? It just got interesting. Up to 19? Or 90? Oh gosh. I don't want you to take a beating though. What if you just like win? A different kind of debt that needs to be repaid. I mean, true. Both in terms of being a fighter and in terms of being a slave. Bear killer? Dang. Is that why the multiple claw marks? Thorfinn is determined, though. He's like, alright, I'm digging my heels in. Yeah, I knew we were gonna end the episode there. Gonna leave me hanging like that. A lot of things going on in this. I'm glad that Uma was in charge of the farm in Thorgil, because that at least has brought stuff down a little bit, right? We're gonna surrender. I don't know if that's gonna interrupt the fight that is happening right now or not, but Thorfinn's right. He does know how to take a hit and keep going. It's not like he hasn't been horrifically injured before and continued to survive, right? Surviving is something that he is good at. And I think it's also interesting for him to be like, I want to repay kindness as well, because we've seen a lot of stuff with him saying, I've killed a lot of people, I've hurt a lot of people, I've done a lot of damage in my lifetime, and I don't know what to do about that. How to rebalance the scales? Can I rebalance the scales? How do I continue carrying that weight? And this is flipping that and saying, how do I repay the kindness that has been shown to me? How do I give back to the people who taught me a different way and who showed compassion? And that's very different from the guilt that he has about his own actions. So it's really interesting. Like, definitely this shift in his demeanor, like stubbornness, but like steadfastness after so much of being unsure of himself and what he wanted and what he stood for and what are his beliefs and how does he live in line to those. A lot of that throughout this entire season. And now we're seeing him being like, I'm not sure about a lot of things, but I'm sure about this at least, that I can't walk away from this farm where there are people who have shown kindness to me and know that they are going to be horrifically injured or killed or captured. I can't do that. It's really interesting to see that shift in his character, and I do need him and Canut to have some kind of meeting. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel because their relationship is already complicated, even when there wasn't all of the stuff with Canut and his dad and taking back the throne and all of that. Before that, it was already complicated because of Canut was kidnapped, and that was how he ended up meeting Thorfinn. It's because Thorfinn was part of that group. It's complicated between them, and it's only got more complicated as they've lived out their own lives and they have their own motivations and goals. So I know that it's gonna be interesting, but they have to meet up. By the end of the season, there has to be a moment where they at least are like face to face. They're making eye contact in the same room. I don't know if we'll have some kind of conclusion to that before going into the next season, because at least with season 1, I had people saying it's a prologue to the rest of the series. So I was like, there's probably going to be like some kind of definite end to that part of the story. And then we had a time jump, but we were starting with other characters before we met up with Thorfinn again. Whereas with this season, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure if there will be some kind of cliffhanger, if we'll have some kind of actual ending of some kind, or if the next season is also going to have a time jump in between it. I don't know, but I'm stressed. I'm stressed about this whole thing. And 100 hits, there has to be an easier way. You could just get around these people. I know you could, but I know we're trying to prove a point, but there's gotta be an easier way, doesn't there? But I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this button to see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post a Vinland Saga reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.